Hello, welcome to this video on the GIST strategy. We will be using the poem Campo dei Fiori by Czesław Miłosz, a Polish Jewish man, to learn how to complete this strategy. You need to download this poem onto your tablet so you will be able to type on it using either a comment box or inserting a text box. Before we can begin, you need to know what GIST means. I have a partial description written at the top of my paper, which I am about to complete. So GIST is the central meaning or theme of a literary work. You may have heard someone use a comment and say, well, what's the gist of the conversation? They're asking, what's the main thing? What's it about? So that's what we're going to do here, is use gist to determine the meaning of this poem. So I'm going to read the first stanza right here. In Rome, on Campo dei Fiori, baskets of olives and lemons, cobbles splattered with wine, and the wreckage of flowers. Vendors cover the trestles with rose-pink fish, armfuls of dark grapes heaped on peach down. Now I'm going to read the second stanza and the third. On this same square they burned Giordano Bruno. Henchmen kindled the pyre, close pressed by the mob. Before the flames had died, the taverns were full again. Baskets of olives and lemons again on the vendors' shoulders. I thought of Campo dei Fiori in Warsaw by the sky carousel one clear spring evening, to the strains of a carnival tune. The bright melody drowned the salvos from the ghetto wall, and couples were flying high in the blue sky. I'm going to stop there, and we're going to first get some background. This was written in 1943, so it was happening in the midst of World War II. Now, the other thing you need to know is that in a poem or a piece of fiction, the focus is a character or the conflict. And we need to remember this so we can understand what we read. So this is what I would like you to write on your paper. In fiction, the focus is the character or the conflict, and it creates an image. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the first few stanzas together, and we're going to mark where we find I, imagery, P, something about a person, or C, the conflict or the situation. Okay? Then we're going to use that information to write a summary. So, in the first stanza, we have the following imagery. I'm going to underline it with my pen. You can highlight it with your highlighting tool in your Word document. So first we have baskets of olives and lemons, cobbles spattered with wine, the wreckage of flowers. That's all imagery. Okay? So we marked it with our eye. Next we have a person. We have vendors, people who sell things. And that covers the trestles with rose-pink fish and armfuls of dark grapes. Here again, that creates imagery, so you know what's happening there. So we're going to move on to the second stanza. We have burned Giordano Bruno. So that's going to be our person. It's also a conflict. because someone is being killed. Additionally, it creates an image, an unhappy image of what's happening. So we're going to mark it I, P, and C. Again, we have henchmen, and those are people. And we have the taverns were full again, baskets of olives and lemons on the vendor's shoulders. So that creates imagery. Vendors again would also be a P for person. And we have the mob, also identified with people. So we're going to stop here. I'm going to make a line. And we're going to write a summary of one-sentence summary of the first two stanzas. So what's happening here? Well, we have the image of this square that's got wrecked flowers, cobbles that have wine on them, and baskets of olives and lemons. So something fun has happened here. On the other hand, we have the image of Giordano Bruno, who has been killed in a fire. That's what a pyre is. So our one-sentence summary, needing to be specific, okay, we're going to say Giordano Bruno mark through that, I apologize, is being, we can be graphic and say burned alive, because he walks up the stairs, which we find out later. Giordano Bruno is being burned alive while what? While, well, let's see. We have the after effects of some kind of a carnival or a fair. While the mob, and they're watching. So let's be simple and say while the mob watches. I'm printing in cursive at the same time, sorry. While the mob watches and returns to the festivities. Okay? So, what you're going to do now is you are going to do this chunk. Stanza 3 and stanza 4. I want you to repeat the process that I just went through with you for the first two stanzas, marking the imagery, the people, the conflict, and again write a one-sentence summary. When you have done that, you are going to take this strategy. You're going to take your sentence from the first two stanzas and your sentence from the second two stanzas and write it at the bottom of the poem. Then you're going to use this strategy to understand your story from your LTF pretest, because that was an issue that some of you had. You didn't understand the story, and if you don't understand something, you cannot effectively write about it. So this strategy, the gist strategy, should help you quite a bit. Thank you, and have a good day.